The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I think I know what time it is where you are because I think the clocks have switched back. But I'm glad to know you're locked onto the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
ultra crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick it off as we always do, all right? We must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to the man Tony P for the past 4 hours of radio. We also say thank you to the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, the Tainos and the Kalinagos, because we all know, accept, reiterate, say it with the chest, and sing it loud at Columbus Live. But we also say thank you to Tony P as well. And the P this week stands for?
Passover.
Yeah, boy.
We had to acknowledge the reason for the season, the greatest sacrifice, the greatest story ever told. Mm-hmm. But you know why he's a Jesus man. So this week is a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for us. Mm-hmm. Right then. Mm-hmm. And I'm not proselytize on the people on them station, but I am going to say that this weekend is a big deal.
Okay. It's Holy Week. I don't know how that's called the days. It's Holy Tuesday.
Listen, Good Friday, Glorious Saturday, Easter Sunday. Right? Depending on who you're talking to, it's just Passover weekend. It's Resurrection Sunday. That is not for me to navigate and negotiate with people. All I'm saying is that I'm grateful for the sacrifice that gave me a chance at life.
By whichever name you call this weekend, please respect it. Yeah, now.
Oi.
This is yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. Remind you that culture is my code alongside my bro with no fro.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. We have a short week and a long weekend ahead of us. How you plan on utilizing your time? And I don't mean in terms of Friday. We could talk about that later. What I want to know is...
I actually will be going to church for a large part of this weekend. All right.
Nice. Good to hear.
I'm actually heading to Saparia on Thursday night to head to mass there. And also I think there is the adoration or the display of the La Divina Pastora statue. So this will be my first time headed down there as well. What about you?
Birthday dinner on Thursday night. Then there's a cricket match on Friday. Saturday and Sunday probably going to be spent in recuperation. Now, I generally don't do much for long weekends. I try to stay out of the way. It's too much people on the road linemen for too long. And based on some shenanigans, we as a teen, I know for a fact that if you get locked up on Holy Thursday, you're inside for a week.
So you get locked up on Holy Thursday when you was younger? That what you're trying to say?
No, sir. Okay. What I'm saying is that based on shenanigans, I'm aware of the fact that being locked up.
Oh no! Normally, when one says based on shenanigans, it's a memory of them getting locked up. Now, so
let me not go into details, right? What I'm saying is, I know for a fact how easy it is to get in trouble, and this is not a long weekend for it to happen, right? Maybe some other time I'll tell that story. For now,
how about no weekend is a good time to get locked up?
Yeah, but if you had to get locked up, it's better when it's Friday and Monday and holidays. That is true.
You know what? There. How about you don't get locked up? Let's just leave it like that, please. Since last week, we had reason to hang our hats and wipe our feet. On Monday, which is yesterday, was the 7-year anniversary of the West Indies winning both the men's and women's T20 World Cup finals. So kudos to the West Indies. And also last week Tuesday we won our T20 series for the first time in a long while.
In a long while.
We win a series already.
Yeah,
we turn in the corner again. We're on a square actually, so we just keep turning corners. This weekend I went to an event called Love in the House. I want to shout out the promoters of that event. Only love music.
And Tyrell?
No,
you didn't promote.
No, I didn't.
You perform.
Yeah. Right.
Big up
I want
Tyrell.
to shout them out purely based on the fact that it was an event where at least 80% of the music was love music.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So if you was in love, that was the kind of event for you.
Yeah.
Sing to the top of your lungs. I also want to wipe my feet on my two little cousins.
Oh.
Leave me alone now there. Yeah, leave me alone, please. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you're friends on Facebook, you can
I see it, in fact, I feel like I screenshot it and post it here so the people could get a read while we navigate the rest of this episode. Hey, you have a serious conversation to continue.
Yeah. But before we continue that conversation, we have to hand it over to the beautiful ladies of Riche, who will do their lovely musical interlude before we bring our guest in today. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
And thanks once again and always to Warish for the musical intro. You know that we have been big fans and will continue to be so. And now in the living room this evening, we figured it was only fair, having had some conversation on this topic before, and featuring a mom, a girl mom and a boy mom last week. It only makes sense that before we wrap this thing up with the specialist perspective, that we bring in a girl dad. And I ain't like to tell you, I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman. I got to say young, but if I remember correctly, he might have been a prefect when I was going to school, but I'm a mind my business. I want to introduce to San Fernando and environs, Trinidad and Tobago, and the listeners at large, no stranger to the airwaves. I call him Shaun Crawford, but you all know him as Shaun C. Shaun, welcome to the living room.
Hey, Ricardo, thank you very much. Thank you, DJ, and thank you very much for having me in the living room. I intend to get a little cozy and we'll talk a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah. So, as Aaron, you had to do this part because I've always managed to mess up this very simple but very important question.
Right. So, Shaun, welcome. As you said, you're no stranger to work. Before I ask that question, you're still on a Wednesday or?
I need to talk to my co-host just next and find out exactly what's going on. But yeah, I love the work family.
Right, because if you all can't remember, Shaun and Jason did the Wednesday nights a couple of times within the last month.
Yeah.
So, right. So Shaun, the first question is probably the most important question you will ever get asked in your life, right? We're not asking you, where's the scene, right? Or where's the scene jelly bean? Or where's the gist physicist? Or what's the word hummingbird if we want to bring it local, right? We're asking, how are you?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I'm fine, you know, guys. I'm my work listeners. I'm good. I'm trying to remain positive amidst a lot of negativity and keeping that positive outlook and looking for the positive in every situation that I'm going through. So I'm good. I'm good. Taking it, as I always say, I take it one day at a time. I try not to get too involved or too engulfed by what's going on. I try to take it one task, one day, 1 hour. Sometimes I have to break it down to 1 hour at a time because it's getting electric. So that's Shaun C in a nutshell right there. I'm good.
So you hosted a sports day over the weekend, I think.
Me and my alma mater, St. Stephen's College. Well, I did some at St. Stephen's. I did CXC at St. Stephen's and then A's at Prez. So I did I was at St. Stephen's College for the annual sports and family day on the Shouter Baptist holiday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff, man. Listen, anytime I see you doing hosting and thing, I just stop and say to myself, the man have it, you know.
I appreciate that.
I would have liked to be that kind of host. I'm capable of doing it. But you have it. No, but you have it. You have this exuberant personality and your energy levels always right up. Every time I sit down and I see an event and I gauge to myself whether or not I could do it, I just stop and think to myself, nah, boy. It had meant for that. It had meant for that.
And listen there, if you check me 5 minutes before my belly hurts, you know, I'm like, oh gosh, are you sure I can do this, right?
You know, as before we get on into the meat of today's conversation, I want to ask a question, right? For both Ricardo and Shaun, as persons that host events of various kinds, right? Do you all still get nervous before you all say your introductory messages at these events?
You check me a few minutes before, my belly hurting, everybody's like, well, Shaun, you always do this. I'm like, no, it's not about always doing this. For me, it's always something new. And I always want to give the best that I can, right? And go beyond that. You know, so I'm nervous. Until they say, okay, showtime. And then all of a sudden, something happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but something happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what the same for you, Ricardo.
But it's a little different for me, you know. I've had the opportunity to MC some weddings, a couple fundraisers, and that type of thing. Guest speak for events and that. You see, when you could check the bar and tell them you're the MC, so you want a little something before the guests could get it, you know, to take the edge off. Right, those sessions are a little easier to do than the others.
Yes.
But each experience is unique because you're in the thing long enough to know that something will always pop up. There will always be a change in the order, right? Somebody gonna come with a CD in 2021, 2022, right? There will always be something, and your job is to deflect that attention away from what not going well to everything else that working. So yeah, if you're not a little bit nervous, it's almost like you're underprepared because you're not anticipating that something going to go left. Correct.
You hear it a lot of time from some of the professionals. They say, you know, if you're not feeling that nerve, then something wrong. You know, you're supposed to get some kind of buzz or some kind of thing supposed to be jerking it just before. Yeah. So I still do.
Yeah. But you know what I realized? The way for me to manage that is when people ask me if I know anybody or if I could. I like to recommend Shaun C on it. You know, Kivo is our boss. Keegs is our boss, right? Rome if he in the country. At the end of the day, let me ad lib. Catch me in long format conversations and them kind of things. But when it comes to hosting, all the fellas have something special. So kudos.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you calling me amongst those guys because those guys I look up to them. So the fact that you calling me that is really in that league is really an honor. So thank you.
I telling you and Jason next, you all have some of South's best kept secrets, you know, and I'm glad to know that you're all on the family now, and that you know, now we could post and share and talk everything that's all you're doing together, man. We're in the same space.
Yeah, man, nice.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked that question to kick it off is because similar to how things have been in repetition in your life, sometimes you know you still have that edge or the nervousness about it. There is no hiding that the article which was published on the 12th of March is something that has been recurring a lot in the history of our country and around the world. Shaun, how surprised were you by this article's revelations?
Not very, to be quite sad to say. Not very surprised. Disappointed because you know a lot of these I'm sure a lot of these older guys have younger ladies in their lives, have ladies in their lives on a whole. So disappointed definitely, but not surprised because I mean, as much as you know you'll watch a movie and you might take a movie for face value, a lot of these movies actually speaking about what's going on in the world. you know, and it opens your eyes to, okay, this thing actually going on. And then when you open the papers and you see it, okay, cool, it's not going on across there, but it's here, then you had to really take stock of what's going on home with you and, you know, the ladies in your life.
Yeah.
So that's literally how I felt about it.
I
Yeah.
don't think from any of the conversations we had thus far, Ricardo, I don't think anybody has ever expressed shock towards the article. Disappointment has been the overriding emotion thus far.
Yeah.
And Dana T of Pleasant and Cool, she raised a valid point. You know, she said that if you were surprised by that article, you need to climb out of the rock that you're living under.
Yeah, correct.
This is a reality that every woman you know has been subject to some form of inappropriate approach, whether it's street harassment, whether it's online, whether it's at work, in school, in person. There has been some encroachment or another on her right to safety.
And I mean, you know, you're saying that, and you know, because you know, you look at, you know, how some fellas may approach ladies or heckle ladies, as we say in the local language. You know, we say suit woman and that kind of thing. And you know, you might take it for a joke, but it's something that we need to really we need to cut out of how we approach ladies. We need to realize that we need to approach ladies in a different way now, you know, respect them and that kind of thing. So, you know, we downplay the suits and the cat calling, as you say, on the side of the street, but it's all those little things make ladies uncomfortable, you know. So yeah.
You know, as you're saying, you know that we need to approach the woman, not just in our lives, but the woman in society differently. I distinctly recall some years ago, the fact that that's when I think I realized it was deteriorating quickly. I went to purchase breakfast in Subway one morning, right? And I greeted the cashier, "Good morning, ma'am." And when I was done, I said, "Thank you, have a good day." And she was offended by that. And that's when I realized things were deteriorating quickly to the point that if even you have manners sometimes, it could be misconstrued.
Yeah.
So that was the point for me. I don't know what the point would be for anybody else, but that's when I realized, nah, boy, as men, we really had a.
And Aaron, you know, you're touching on a point there, and there was something happened to me personally, right? And I'm never afraid to speak my experiences. You know, I'm not ashamed to speak my experiences, and I can, because I think it's a learning. I think life is one of the greatest teachers, and you know, the more we speak about things, somebody might learn something, and that kind of thing. Sometimes I have a habit, right? So even if I know you personally, whatever, if I see you doing something good, I'll comment. You know, I'm not talking about ladies here, ladies, men, and anybody. If I see you doing something good, I'll drop a little comment, drop a little something, right? And there was a post that I commented on a young lady, right? And it was, "I see you," right? But she took it the wrong way. I was actually saying, "Hey, I see you doing something good." I mean, all I said was, "I see you."
Yeah.
But she took it as me coming at her in some kind of way, and I was like, "But no, that I just meant, hey, I see you doing your thing. Keep on doing your thing." And probably I needed to go into the detail of saying that, right? Because probably the comment was that borderline that, you know, she took it in that way. But we have to be so mindful of how we say things, when we say things, what we say. You know, so it's interesting that you brought up that, because sometimes your kindness might be taken as maybe misconstrued, you know, misunderstood.
Yeah, totally agree. I have, and I said it before and I'll say it again, I have a habit now. If I see my brethren change a profile picture, put on a little suit, do something, some great achievement or another, or just feeling the self that day. But I am hearting, full heart emoji, full hug emoji. If I see a young lady, she could graduate with her master's, she is getting a thumbs up. You understand?
You're right. You haven't changed.
Yeah, I can't be the guy that when you scroll back, I heart and hugging 25, 30 woman profile, right? And when you check my brethren and them, is thumbs up, ha-has, comments and no reaction. What I'm saying is, I don't even want the perception
of being
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Yeah. I've had to change the way I comment and that kind of thing also. For that same said reason.
Yeah, I back in the day, I might have given somebody a word of encouragement. I might have hit them in the DMs. Hey, listen, congratulations, I'm so glad, ting, and chalala. No.
Yeah.
If I'm saying
No.
anything, it is on the post where everybody could see.
Good to see. Yeah. I hear that 100%. I agree. You had it. In this here time, you really had to toe the line. You had to toe that line and make sure that everything is black or white.
And as much as possible above board.
Yeah, let's say I think our unwritten commandment now is thou shalt not slide in the DMs. But once you bypass the post and go into DMs.
Yeah, the DM is a dark place. Don't go in the DM. The DM is a dark place. Don't go.
Because I've had female friends tell me that they have all kind of 1,000 friend requests, how much ever messages in the request section on IG, and I like, and then they might share a screenshot of whoever talking to themselves for the past 5 months, and it's like,
morning beautiful. All the fellas on our real, we had to get together because we had to do better and we can. Now, Shaun, that leads us into a real ticklish conversation here. We had to go into daddy mode on this one, man.
Yeah, sure.
We had to play in daddy mode here. Now, I want to preempt the question with this: how safe do you feel online and in the streets?
Not very, because I mean sometimes you're so wary. Even for example, just the other day, one of my friends from who I haven't seen in a while, she's actually living in England, sent me a message jumping. Hi, look who died in this accident. So I was like,
right.
I went into it. I don't think I clicked on the link because I was like, this is strange. She went just message me like this. And then a few days after I messaged, I was like, did you message me? And she was like, no, if you open it. And he did changes in because she was hacked. Right? And so you have to be, as I said, the key word here is you have to be so mindful. You can't drop your guard at any time. Online, whether it's on the road, whatever it is, you have to be mindful at all times. And as we getting into that whole daddy mode, I always tell the girls, I was like, I grew up going to the pharmacy for my mom. I grew up going to the rosy shop for my mom because I live in the heart of San Fernando and everything is walking distance, right? So I live on Harris Street, right? So I literally right there. I just walk to go wherever. I always tell people, you drop in San Fernando, I reach you home, right? Anyways, it's just amazing I will reach home, right? And I had, you felt a sense of independence. It's a certain autonomy when your mom say, hey, go to run, go get something grocery. Go and get 4 roti by S&D roti shop. Right. For those who know what S&D roti shop, so, and I can't give that privilege to my kids. And I think it's so unfortunate for them, that it's like we're robbing them a little bit of childhood. But we have to, and I have to explain that to the kids. I was like, listen, it's not that I don't want you all to do certain things, but it will be irresponsible of me to let you all do certain things. Certain things that a child should experience as a rite of passage, and a sense of growth and independence within themselves and that kind of thing. So, it's a ticklish thing as a father because you really got to toe that line between giving them letting them experience life, but protecting them.
Shaun, you mentioned girls. How old are they? Just
my girls are 16 and 12. Oh, sorry, 16 and 13. Sorry, 16 and 13.
Yeah. You're looking to get in trouble, boy.
Yeah. And the 12-year-old is bad mop, she's the one that was bad mop.
So I like that you mentioned that these young ladies being robbed is something, and I can't just say young ladies because the young fellas and them coming up in a different time into what we would have come up in, right? But there's an expectation that as you get a little older, you get a little more independence and you get the opportunity to explore your community generally safely. That's how we know when we were coming up in the 80s and 90s, right? There was listen, the amount of bad turn that we make, and once you within miles of home, you're safe.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you know what streets what street shorter than which street, which one have the hills, where the street
Yeah.
light and them always out. What I mean is you knew your community, your environment.
You're right, and I mean, Ricardo and Aaron, I don't know about you, but I can tell you for myself, right? I do not know the children on my street. I'm saying that to say that I remember for Christmas, my neighbor Miss Achong would make cookies for us and give me for Christmas because they always see me walking up and down the street. You're part of the family. The family. You're like the outside family. You know that kind of thing. You're the extended family.
Yeah.
But I cannot say that I know children on my street.
Yeah, my brother was actually he worked at a basketball camp last Java. That's what that's called it, Iran? July, August.
Yeah,
vacation.
I don't know Ricardo.
Right?
I like it. I just said
Yeah, I think they'll get on. The real get on.
Yeah, I was like, why we didn't think of this though?
You know, so he worked at a basketball camp.
You know why we didn't think of it? Because we weren't just abbreviating words just because.
We wasn't up for the shortcuts.
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough. And so Lando was coaching our basketball camp and realized that one of the guys from the camp living around the corner from us.
Wow.
After the fact, right? Literally, you don't know the youth in your neighborhood anymore because it's not safe for them to come outside, right?
Yeah.
And not only that too, we also know that with the technology that they have available, a lot of them don't want to come outside.
Facts.
Right?
I could throw a question out there. So, Shaun, I know how passionate you are about something like carnival, for example.
Yeah.
Do you take your daughters out for carnival, like Carnival Sunday? You take them out to Superior Street and stuff like that?
I'm that dad. I've always pledged myself to be that dad, and even before things really got worse, and I've always pledged myself to be that dad. One of the goals is I need to get a 7-seater, and I'll carry the girls. I carry new friends. I carry everybody. I don't mind being that parent, right? Because I always said that my best friend, who I'm sure you all know, Devon, who I work with Flash Plastic, his dad had that 7-seater, and as CXC was finished, we went colors, we went everywhere, we went every club, and he just dropped us. He parked up or whatever he did, and I always said I would be that dad. So yes, I would take them out. I don't mind going. If you want to go out, I'll come with you. Not a problem.
And I know the other end of the spectrum is that there are parents who would not, because they look at the environment and the climate that we live in, they would shelter the children so much that they don't allow them to even experience it under vigilant supervision. However, and I say this very loosely because I'm not a parent, I'm far from being a parent, I think the over sheltering, what face is that, Ricardo?
So all I'm saying, it's nothing at all. This is me actively listening. I have a loud face. I apologize. No comment on how soon you're going to or not be going or not going to be a parent. Nothing. None.
Right. Right. But I think the over sheltering, it prohibits them to get the experience to fend for themselves to an extent. I could be wrong, huh?
No, but Aaron, I mean, and Ricardo, I'm not too sure. You went to UE?
No.
Okay.
I spend plenty of time in UE.
Bash. No, but I mean, we've been around. I've been around friends who we know went to different universities with children who've been sheltered, and as soon as they touch them in that university, all hell break loose.
Yes, Pompex syndrome, I call it.
All hell break loose. And it's basically what I think. Basically, I mean, I'm no professional, but based on my experience and my understanding, I think it's exactly what you're saying here, Aaron, is the fact that they have not experienced things, and now that they get a taste of freedom or some level of independence, they don't know what to do themselves.
Yeah, no road sense.
Now, the next thing I want to ask, Shaun, and I'll keep track. As much as we have direct questions that we want to ask, there are some things that I want to get out there in this kind of conversation, because your situation is a little unique. because you, as we established at the start of the show, you are in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Right? So you are subject to certain things that I may be subject to.
Right.
Right? And also now you have a daughter who is aspiring to be and actively participating in the entertainment industry as well.
Yeah.
So the first question is, how proud are you to know that she is following in daddy's footsteps?
Listen, I was pleasantly surprised because Chelsea, or selector Chelsea, she's doing in the entertainment industry, she was the quietest person ever. Quiet. So I was pleasantly surprised when I realized she personally showed an interest in it, right? And that all stemmed from, coming to the studio with me alongside Jason and his daughter DJ Pongster, who's super talented. Super talented, yeah. And I guess being in the environment, watching, seeing how we interact, seeing what we do, she started to build a passion. But now she always loved music, but I didn't realize she would have been drawn to it like that now. And then she showed an interest, and we joined her at the DJ's Intellect Live with his DJ school.
Yeah, intellectuals.
So right, so she joined the classes there, and I never got a chance to hear her play, right? And then 2 carnivals ago, under lockdown, Jason decided to do a show for Carnival, an online show. And so all of us were playing, all the DJs were playing and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, and I was like, wait, she actually has something. And that's when I realized, okay, cool, she has something about her with it. So I was pleasantly surprised. I'm happy. And I try to encourage her as much as I can, into pursuing it.
And the follow-up question to that now, and I say this, and I try to say it with as much empathy as possible.
Yeah.
The women in the entertainment industry in Trinidad and Tobago are sometimes not taken seriously, or they are taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Right? What steps have you taken to protect her from a situation like that?
One of the first things that I did, and as you know, being around Jason and Punks and that kind of thing, is one of the things that I was happy that I did was going to Ricardo to get her logo done. And I say that not because Ricardo is here, but because of the interaction Ricardo and I have. And I've been, anybody who's been asking me about logos and that kind of thing, I've been referring them to Ricardo. I was like, listen, this man
Ricardo
is
the
a
logos.
boss.
Yes, Aaron. I'm all right with them. Yeah. But what I would like to say, in all fairness, is that the logo is really just the expression of the conversation that we had.
And that's it.
That's why I like to deal with it. So
Yeah.
No, the reason why I asked Ricardo is because, and I had to take the same way how you just tell me, I do give myself flowers. This is the first time inside the living room you have said that this is what you do.
well, you know
I'm
what?
going to bring it up.
Thanks, Shaun.
Thanks, Shaun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shaun. I will take that. Yes, I do logos,
Right, so-
and I ain't bad either.
All right, so go ahead with the
As Ricardo mentioned, it was not up, and the reason I brought it up is because from that was a step to show Chelsea how professional we need to take this step. Ricardo, it wasn't about, okay, cool, here, take this. You like blue? Here, take it. It was an in-depth conversation about who Chelsea is and wants to be. Right? So it started off in a professional mindset about this as a career. And that's one of the things that I've tried to instill in Chelsea, in terms of understanding, okay, cool, yeah, we're having fun in this. Have fun while doing this job. But you need to take it seriously. You need to take your steps and your journey and understand it's not a destination. You don't just reach. It's a journey. And for me, that is what I've tried to instill in both her and Pongster, because I consider Pongster my daughter, I try to instill that in both of them to understand, okay, this is not about It's about the fame. It's not about the glitz. It comes. Those things come. It naturally comes. But understand that there's a journey. There's a process, and to be taken serious in this industry, you have to upskill yourself. You need to upskill yourself. You need to constantly be at it, knowing what's being the best at what you do. I've always preached that to the girls. Be the best. You could do whatever you want to do. Just be the best at it.
And I want to definitely acknowledge a couple things. Aaron has brought it up before. I'm going to re-emphasize it now. And one of our guests, our former resident in the living room, Joshua Ricardo, right? We want to emphasize the need for parents to be supportive of their kids' artistic ambitions, as well as the academic. Right? We're talking about a culture that feeding and dying and this and that and the other and it becoming something else. But if we don't support these kids as they endeavor to become the next gatekeepers of culture, we're going to lose all of it.
Everything.
Right? You'll spend money to go to the movies, but you don't understand that being a creative generates income. You understand? You'll pay money to go to a concert and then realize that being a musician could generate income. Right? There are things that our kids interested in that if we support them, we could help them get there professionally, safely, and successfully. So first and foremost, I was really grateful to see a parent and parents involved in what it is the kids wanted to do. Now, I took the responsibility to have the conversation in a particular way. Because here the catch. If it's just a hobby, it's fine and all well and good. But it is a hobby that could become something else. And I am a huge advocate for not protecting children to the point where they are unprepared. What happens when you overprotect? Now, I'm not saying chuck them in the sea so they'll learn to swim, or leave them in the bush and if they come out, well then they're worthy of survival. No, I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is that in your protection, you have to prepare them, right? Support, show interest, right? Establish a relationship such that they want to share with you the things that they're going to explore. Because whether you like it or not, your children are going to explore their interests.
Correct.
Right? Lana raised a point last week about going through her daughter's phone. Because the premise of privacy exists, But until you're legally an adult, I have a responsibility for that privacy as well. I have a responsibility to protect you within that privacy. But here the catch now. Correct. You don't want to have to dig up to find something that's unsafe. Best case scenario is you nurture a relationship where your daughter or your son could come to you and be like, hey, you wouldn't believe that thing we talk about, it really happened the other day,
Correct.
And then you could ask them, really? How you handle it? As opposed to they come screaming, running into the room, overwhelmed by our experience, that as far as you cover their ears and shoo to them, could never happen.
And it's what you're saying is so important. And I think, we always say that, our parents at the time did the best that they could. And I think all parents, most parents do the best that they can, right? And I think we are in an era right now where information is there, is at the click of a finger, literally. And so we can only monitor so much, or we can only control so much information that's going to our children. But it's so important for them to hear from us, right? And so I'm not gonna, the whole taboo about the birds and the bees and that kind of thing. Not speaking to the children about that, and no, I'm talking to you about it. And I'm not being uncomfortable because she's a girl. Hey, let mommy talk to you about that. No, we can talk about it, and it's so important what you're saying in terms of having that open relationship with the children in this era. I think that's one of the best gifts you could give to a child, boy or girl, in this year era, having that open door relationship with your child. And I tell them, listen, you come to me, I might initially get vexed, but trust and believe, I'll come and we'll sit down and talk. I prefer you come and talk to me and you let me know. And we'll sort it out.
Question. Your daughter's on Instagram?
Yes, both are on Instagram.
You just curate the posts on them, or they could just go ahead and post what they want?
I tend to curate. And sometimes it may slip by. So like there are a few times that it slipped by, And when I catch up and I was like, hey, whoa, what's going on here? And I kind of, so now they kind of understand what I'm okay with. So now so now they understand what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with. So what's not allowed.
So you didn't, your concept of boundary is not build a brick wall. It's more along the lines of I'll put up guardrails.
Yeah. My approach is I like to have conversation, right? I by all means I am not always right. I'm not going to pretend that I'm always right. I'm also learning as we go by, because this world is changing constantly, right? So I'm learning how to be the best parent that I could be, and so I'm not here to impose and say, hey, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm here to understand the situation and be like, okay, cool. Probably you're right here. Right, and let's talk about it. I'm up for a conversation.
You ever apologized to your child?
Always, because I've done some stupid things as a parent, so I do.
Listen,
You know what? If it's one part of the show you want them to hear, is that part right there.
No, listen, they will tell you. They will tell you. This is not a mama guy thing. I've apologized to my girls. Because I know there have been times where sometimes I have a short fuse. People don't believe it. They say because it always seems as a smiley kind of person. But sometimes, I guess sometimes they might get the better of you and that kind of thing, and you have a short fuse, and you may react to something not in the right way. And I've done that a few times, and I've went back to the girls and be like, okay, cool, daddy, sit down. I thought about this, and I was wrong. So yes, I've apologized to the girls.
In today's world, tracking somebody has changed from when we used to track or quote unquote court young ladies, right?
Yeah.
When we were in secondary school and we wanted to express interest in a young lady, you would go on the promenade before 3 o'clock because Sister Phyllis used to make sure that the convent girls get home or off the promenade by 3 p.m.
Correct.
You go down there and you look for the young lady and you'll have a conversation by the ice cream shop right by boys' school there.
Right.
Or by La Peak Corner.
La Peak Corner it was.
Yeah.
Ricardo?
Sir, pardon? It's you here talking to? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, right? But now, expressing interest in someone is liking a photo on Instagram, right? Or going on the profile and liking 4 or 5 photos. Because Ricardo, we have to admit and we have to accept that expressing interest has changed because we now live in a social, online paradigm.
Yeah, attention is a currency.
Right? So, Shaun, and also the next part is we have to accept that sometimes women can be the aggressors, in engagements, in social engagements.
Yeah.
Shaun, as a parent of 2 young ladies, are you teaching your young girls about and discouraging them from becoming bullies, abusers, or predators?
Yeah, it's important. Again, is being mindful, and that's one of the things I always tell you kids. I want them to be mindful of every interaction they have. How you speak to someone. First of all, having manners at all times is key for me. How you speak to someone, even if you're right, even if you're wrong, how you handle situations, being diplomatic. Sometimes stepping back, even if you're right, So, yes, because I always tell them, listen, your daddy, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy, your grandparents, they are known, and I never want to have anyone calling me into school. I do want that kind of interaction. I be like, listen, I want to have open lines of communication. Let's not break the trust. So, yes, they're children, they will make mistakes, right? I get that. I totally on board with that. But let's talk about stuff. Let's something on school happening. Come and talk to me, and I can, I will know how to probably go to the teacher and speak to the teacher about it. Don't take things into your own hands. Come and talk to him about it, and let's deal with it. And as I say, I think that's one of the things that is my line of defense. I try to keep that open door policy, that open line of communication with the girls, so that at any time, no matter how uncomfortable it gets, they could come and talk to me. And and they have. So far, so good. They have been using that channel. They've been, and we've so far, so good. Knock on wood. Mm-hmm. I haven't had any instances of anything, where the girls are in any kind of altercation or misrepresentation of the way we would have raised the girls.
Yeah, because I don't want to be this guy, but it is what it is.
You're always that guy. But go ahead.
Unless you're that guy, Aaron. This is teamwork making dreamwork, right? Cyberbullying is a huge deal. So now we're not just talking about protecting our kids from the online predators being people who taking advantage of a position of authority. We're also looking at the vulnerability these kids have to online confrontations and bullying and people ganging up on them and the cancel culture and the dragging them mentality. Somebody tell us something in class, fellas might scramble. We've seen more and more reports of the young ladies getting involved in altercations. Generally, you might hear that there's a young man involved or something along those lines, right? Yeah. But the young ladies would quicker turn the consensus against your character and your personality. The bullying in group is something that could happen where you become ostracized from a community that is important to you and those types of things. So the fact that the girls could come to you and speak to you about not just the types of dangers they're exposed to, but sometimes just the uncomfortable situations that they have to navigate could help you address the self-esteem issues or the fact that the things that people are saying and doing can be hurtful. So the danger might not be from what a predator does, it might be from what the environment is making them feel about themselves.
Yeah. I mean, and you're saying that, and just probably, I think it was Saturday, I would have had a conversation with my younger daughter, because you're trying to be aware of the surroundings that she's navigating, because she would have just went into secondary school, and I just I had the conversation with her in terms of staying away from trouble, even if your classmates are probably getting into some kind of altercation. You pull yourself away. If you have a friend who getting into something, if you can try and talk to her, but if you see she's going down that road, pull yourself away. Is no problem. It's cool. Is you don't have to do the wrong things to be cool. Cool is staying out of trouble. Cool is not having me come in school together, show my next side. That's cool. I just had a conversation just this weekend with my younger daughter, just trying to ensure that she's aware that, hey, don't get pulled into the wrong crowd and be influenced. I just Saturday had that, it's either Friday or Saturday I had a conversation with her.
Yeah, because I want to emphasize certain key points. You have a specialist coming in pretty soon to have the conversation, but I want to emphasize one or two of the things. A high-risk target for online grooming are kids who appear to be alienated or isolated, right? If they find the loners and the ostracized, they find the people who feel like nobody understands and identifies with them, and they would start curating an environment of acceptance and appreciation and validation and create a fake safe space, right? Yeah. It is important that your daughters particularly, your sons will act out in ways that you might be able to identify the behavior, but with your daughters, you might not pick up on the fact that they are struggling with the alienation, the ostracize, the bullying, right? Even the unwanted approaches from people that they might feel like they had something to do with it happening. The behavior expresses differently, right? So it's not just about knowing who the friends are, Sometimes you have to find out who's the girl in class who don't like them.
Yeah, true. So true.
Right?
So true. Yeah, and it's so true because no, I try to foster that conversation when dropping, because sometimes I'll drop or pick up. And I try to foster that conversation, what happened in school today. I like to hear the stories, and at least and the perspective and that kind of thing. I want to hear the stories, and as you say, not just the friends, but what else is going on.
Yeah, you don't know the names to ask. So how so and so going? I ain't hear you talk about so and so. They fall out or what?
Yes.
But that attention, remember, attention is our currency. If they're not getting it home, but they're getting it online, they're getting it from the teacher who insists that there's a star and there's a special. What I'm saying is, be mindful of where the gaps are.
I think that's the key word, being mindful.
Guys, unfortunately, we are getting perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago, and I must remind you that you are locked onto the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
Shaun, we would love to have you back when we are doing the panel, right?
I appreciate it. We have a privilege.
Do you have any message to share to the men out there as to what we can do better, and also by extension to the women in our society as well?
As fathers, as men, as uncles, as brothers, we can't leave it all up to the women. We can't. We just can't. We need to be more involved. I think the whole gender role thing, we need to move past that. We need to move past this whole gender role thing where that's your mother's responsibility. No, it's our responsibility. We are parents, right? And once we move with that awareness as a man, as a father, brother, uncle, friend, we will create better spaces for children to operate in, better spaces for children to communicate in. We will be, as you said there, Ricardo, we will provide that attention, the right attention for our children, where they will come to you and get our currency from you. They'll navigate towards you, and you just want that. You just want it. At all times you want to know what's going on in your children's life, and you want to. We are humans. Sometimes we may react in ways that But once we have that open conversation with our children, that open door atmosphere for the children, I think it builds a better space for everyone. For the young ladies out there, being mindful of who you are, first of all, being mindful of what you want to project out there. So, how you dress, how you post, things you may say. Just be mindful of those things. We are in a space where, as people on a whole, there are very few mistakes we could make that aren't exacerbated and aren't published. So we have to understand we will make mistakes. So, and a lot of times now it will get out there. It just quite possibly the possibility of it getting out there is very real right now. But you need to build yourself strong enough. You need to build character. And we need to help them build that character that they're able to overcome these obstacles, overcome these mistakes, and use them as something to build strength and not weaken them. So yeah, that's the advice I'd want to give to young ladies, young people on a whole. Just be mindful of yourself, be mindful of everything you're putting out there, be mindful of your circle. Your circle is so important. The older people would say, your friends will take you but not bring you back, and it's so true. You listen to these sayings, and it's so true. So be aware of your circle, be aware of the people who you're interacting with, be aware of your space, be aware of your space and who you're letting into your space.
Yeah, man.
Shaun, I have known you for how much ever years, and to sit and hear this conversation that we are having today, it warms my heart because I know you as the vibes man. I know you as the man with the energy. But now I'm seeing a side of you, the parental side.
Yeah.
That, as Ricardo said when we started, I honestly am losing hope to have children because of the fact that I don't want my children to come up in a society where we have to be afraid to live. But you are showing me that just being actively involved in your child's life is one of the keys to ensuring that you could reduce the possibility of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
And I must commend you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Iran.
The Sahara does, Ricardo?
No, I ain't like tell you. You're on the first, maybe not the first, but the second time I was on here with you, I was telling you we had to normalize healthy male affection, you know. And watching our brother tell our brother that you rekindle something in me, or that I admire what you do, or that I'm proud of you, or this is a side of you I had not anticipated. Yeah, them things go a long way, you know.
Yeah. So true. So true.
Shaun, your social media handles and stuff like that. Anybody want to say good night to before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just want to say good night to Chels, Shay, as I fondly call her, of course, Trish. I just want to say good night to everybody, all the WAC listeners out there. We have a pivotal role to play in our tomorrow. You know, and everybody's a gatekeeper for tomorrow. Everyone, in some small way, we are all gatekeepers for tomorrow. And let's just be mindful of how we can impact what we do today to impact tomorrow. You know, and one of the messages I always want to leave there, we are all blessed with a gift and a talent. God has blessed us all with a gift and a talent, and your God-given talent is what will see you through. So, you know, just dig in deep. Find that purpose, find that God-given talent that He's blessed you, because trust me, He blessed you with something, and it might feel whatever, but God has blessed us with something, and your God-given talent is what will see you through. Social media handles at Shaun C __ and Facebook Shaun Crawford.
Which plans for the long weekend, both of y'all?
I could shake a tail feather somewhere, you know.
I
could shake a tail feather.
I foresee that I will be smelling like Bengay and shilling oil, because apparently I am part of a Iran 11 versus Tyrrell 11 cricket match on Good Friday. Yeah, your boy gonna try to spin a win ball.
If already that some don't fit to come in, huh?
You know we could do.
Come true now, Shaun. The as much as is a non-competitive competitive game, come true and take a life, man.
Yeah, come and take a thing. No see.
Yeah, if you see me practicing to spin a win ball this last round, it's real tears out there, you know.
I do I take it out while I must say.
So Shaun, thank you very much for joining us inside.
No, thank you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity. So thank you very, very, very much. And keep on doing what you're doing. It's a great thing y'all are doing. So keep it up.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, Shaun, especially for those for that reinforcement and that message there, because I'm not gonna lie to you all, you listeners, sometimes it's hard because you will look at the fact that people would listen on a Tuesday. You don't know who's listening, but then somebody will walk up to you on the side of the road or see you in the grocery and tell you, hey, thank you very much for the things that you all say on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Ricardo will bounce them up by the doubles, man, because that is where he does go.
Doubles, it doubles and back home. Listen, anyway.
Right. So thank you all very much for keeping it locked to the True Nation station. Thank you again, Shaun. I always tell you all that love is the currency. So spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them, guys.
Yes,
this
sir.
is yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I remind you as well that culture is my code. Ricardo?
This is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. We get in there. Reminding you guys that the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains. So whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. I want to send a special thank you to our listeners. Sometimes it's the dozens, sometimes it's the hundreds, and we have no clue how many listen on the bandwidth. But what I want to do is thank each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, because every now and again, somebody will walk up to you and make a comment and you realize that they have been listening or that they heard. And the most important thing is that, listen, if the message gets to who it's supposed to get to, well, then I could live with that. Take care of yourself and come out of the weekend having enjoyed it. That's what I want from you.
And also, if you are so inclined to remember the reason for the weekend, right? So if you're heading to church this weekend, do enjoy and please be safe. All right. Up next is Mr. Desmond with the big band. We are out.